Welcome to week 7 of the Industry Readiness program. Your team has a PRD, an architecture doc, and 2 architecture decision records. This week, one openapi file becomes the source of truth for your API, types, clients, server, and docs all compile from it. 14 minutes. 1. Week 6 output. PRD version 1.0 signed by all 3 leads, architecture doc with sequence diagrams, 2 architecture decision records with rejected alternatives, cloud topology decided. This week you produce an openapi 3 spec as the single source of truth, generated types for client and server, RFC 7807 error contracts, and a Redocly lint pass with 0 warnings. The shift this week. The spec is not just documentation. It is the source that compiles into code. The openapi file compiles into 4 outputs simultaneously. Types generated for TypeScript, Python, Go, clients, a software development kit per language. Server handlers auto-typed against the operation definitions. Docs rendered HTML from the same file. 4 outputs, 1 source. You never maintain them in parallel. An openapi file has 4 top-level sections. Info, who, what, version. Paths, endpoints keyed by URL, with operations keyed by HTTP method. Components, reusable schemas, and responses. Security, or schemes. Everything else is a variant of one of these. On screen is the minimum viable spec for a ticket triage API. Every parameter has a name, an in, path, query, or header, a required flag, a description, and a schema. BISTEC house rule: description is mandatory, not optional. If you can't describe the parameter in 1 line, you don't understand it yet. Example on screen: the IP path parameter for /ticket/ID and an if match header for optimistic concurrency on the PAT-ECH handler. Every schema defines type, required, additional properties, and properties. Strict by default, additional properties equals false. And every schema has an example. Graders check that 2 things: strict bodies and examples. No schema ships without both. On screen is the ticket schema with ID, title, priority loom, timestamp, and a concrete example object. Response modeling. Success: 200 OK with body, 201 created with location header, 204 no content for deletes. Errors: 400 bad requests for validation fails, 401 unauthorized for missing or invalid auth, 404 not found, 500 internal server error for the unhandled. Every endpoint defines at least these 4 response codes. No, we'll add errors later. They are in the spec from day 1. RFC 7807 problem details: the shape, type, title, status, detail instance, errors. Type is a URL naming the problem class. Title is a short human readable string. Status is the HTTP code. Detail is instance specific. Instance is the request URL. Errors is an optional array for field level validation messages. BISTEC rule: every 400 and 500 returns the shape. No custom error envelopes per endpoint. Every request body schema rejects unknown fields at the edge, not in the handler. Client sends a typo, 400 bad requests before your code runs. No silent acceptance, no graceful pass-through that corrupts data later. Strict by default. Generation commands. Number 1. openapi TypeScript reads your spec and emits a schema, TS file of TypeScript types. Number 2. The IRP openapi-TS emits a typed fetch client for the front end, or use Stainless, which emits full SDKs in multiple languages from one configuration. And continuous integration enforces regeneration. Run the gen command in CI, then git diff exit code. If the generated file drifts from the spec, the pipeline fails. No manual sync. Pull the operation type directly from the generated schema. Pass tickets simultaneously. Declare your Fastify route with that reply type. Now, if you return a shape that doesn't match the spec, the compiler catches it. No integration test needed to find the drift. Spec-driven, end-to-end typed. Front-end client. Create client from openapi-fetch with your types. Then if you call client /tickets with typed params, typed response, URL, method, body, response, all typed at compile time. House rule: if a file imports node-fetch or Axios and hits your API, reject the pull request. One client generated for everything. Lint with the Redocly command line tool. On screen is the Redocly YAML config. Extend the minimal preset, then upgrade every rule you care about from warn to error. No used components as error. Operation description as error. Operation description as error. Parameter description as error. Security defined as error. Response contains header as warn for etag on gets. BISTEC bar CI fails if the lint emits any warning. Upgrading warn rules to error is the whole trick. Week 7 deliverables. 1. Your openapi YAML lint clean via Redocly. Every endpoint with 200 plus 4xx plus 500. Every schema with an example. 2 generated clients. The types package and the typed fetch client, both regenerated in CI. 3. At least one Fastify root typed from the spec, not handwritten. Submit Friday. Week 8 ships the full sprint on top of this contract. The takeaway from week 7. One spec, 4 outputs, types client server docs, all compiled from the openapi file, not maintained in parallel. Coming in week 8. The team sprint that closes month 2. Multi-agent orchestration with 1 Cloud Code session per story. Daily stand-ups, 60 seconds each. Blockers first. All request review craft against the BISTEC rubric. Demo day number 2 with a stakeholder demo and an architect critique. File today's training diary entry. See you in week 8.